What's up guys, it's McNulty here. Welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are all doing well, and the costume summon has opened up once again today, so I know that we've got some new Toons in here. In fact, we've got 5 new Toons. But just before we get to them, I want to say thank you to everybody who has voted on the community page. It looks like the Construct family heroes are winning by a country mile at the moment. So it looks like that is going to be our next family tier list. But there is still time to vote, so we'll keep it open for another 24 hours or so. So if you want to get on there and vote for your favorite family of heroes that you would like me to do a tier list on, it looks like it's going to be Construct, but there is still time. So with that being said, we're going to get into this portal and have a look at the new heroes that we've got. One of which is the lovely Isarnia, who I've got a very soft spot in my heart for. She is our only new 5-star Toon. We have Little John making an appearance, very Little John. We have Gormek. We've also got Hawkmoon, who's a pretty decent costume, and Berden. So we're going to go ahead and have a look at our new Toons today. They are nearly there, but there are still a few 5s and a few 4s and 3s that they haven't done yet. So we'll start off with Isarnia, since she is the featured hero in this portal. And first of all, we all know and love Isarnia. She is the queen of the ice heroes. Just a pretty fantastic all-rounder. So we'll see what they've done with her, if they've made her any better. I doubt if they've made her any worse. So she is in this costume going to be of the wizard class, which is the same as the original version. So it means that it gives her the superior jinx. Very important superior talent there. So when dealing damage through either normal skills or special skills, there's a 50% chance to deal 15% damage extra per each active buff. But before dealing the extra damage, they can dispel all active buffs from the target before the damage is dealt. That is a fantastic talent. If you do not have a superior jinx hero on your team, I would highly recommend leveling the Season 1 heroes just for that talent alone, because it means that you can dispel with tiles. So any tile that you throw into a hero has got a 50% chance of dispelling not just one, but all active buffs from the target. So that is a fantastic talent. It's a very, very good class for this hero. So just, bear that in mind as we go through this hero's skills as well. And then the family bonus for the classic family, they get a bonus for anywhere from 2, 3, or 4, or 5 heroes, and it increases their attack anywhere from 1% up to 7%. Defense is the same, and healing is the same. The healing effect doesn't really come into effect that often or into play that often, but it is there, so it's worth remembering. And then, of course, they get the massive costume bonus, which keeps their stats very relevant. An attack bonus of 40%, defense 40%, health of 65%, and the mana bonus of 5%. So that means that if we switch off the max power preview, we can see that the humble Isarnia, who keeps wanting to disappear on me, but Toon Isarnia is running a team power of 1050. So 1083 on the attack, 950 on the defense, so a bit squishy on the defense department, but still really, really good. 2004 on the health means she's going to be sticking around for a while. She's going to be able to do some pretty serious damage. And then she benefits from the all-important Toon passive, which is this one that we all know and hate. I mean, I just think that it's got to be only a matter of time before they do decide to do away with this passive, because it wreaks havoc. I'm telling you now. I mean, you will all have known about this. If you're going up against these heroes, multiple Toon heroes on defensive teams are just the worst to deal with because of that Toon passive. 75% chance to resist not just all status elements, but mana reductions and buff dispels as well. So you can't dispel them, you can't give them elements, you can't reduce their mana. I mean, they are just really, really difficult to deal with on defense because of that. And I think that needs to be reduced. I've said it once, but I'm going to say it again. I think the Toon passive definitely needs a bit of a reduction. Now, Moving on to her special skill. So this is going to be very reminiscent of her original special. So it's called Toon Shatter. It was Glacial Shatter. She used to be dealing a measly 235% damage to all enemies, but all importantly, all enemies got negative 44% defense for 6 turns. One of the biggest defense downs for the longest amount of time of any hero in the game. And that's why I found her so usable and used her for so long initially. Now, her Toon hero, the Toon Shatter, is going to be dealing 385% damage to all enemies. That is a huge step up from what she was doing before. From 235 up to 385, just nearly 400% damage to all enemies is absolutely massive. And then all enemies get negative 34% defense for 6 turns. So you're losing 10% in terms of the defense down, but you're gaining a huge amount in terms of the damage. So I think that you can kind of deal with that. I mean, I think that I would rather have the Toon version with the higher amount of damage, even though the defense down is lower. And then she deals extra damage against fire. Pardon me, guys. So I've been told that the extra damage is about 50% extra damage. Kind of find that hard to believe, but if it is, it's a huge amount of damage that she's going to be dealing against fire enemies. So it makes her a really good hero for a few different areas. Definitely in Rush War, hands down, she's going to be one of the best defense downs in ice that you've got. In against Titans, she's going to be amazing. In fact, I think I'd probably still use this version just because of the bigger defense down. All of your other heroes can take a bit more advantage of that. But as a defensive hero, you know, she's got a lot going for her. That Dispel can activate 50% chance for her to dispel using the superior talent, then give the defense down and hit for 385% damage, plus the extra damage against fire. She is just a great all-rounder now. I mean, these Toons are really bringing back some of the old favorites, and I think that in Isarnia's case, like we saw with Kagan just a few weeks ago, I would say that she is definitely now into the upper echelon again of the heroes that we have in the game. So I'm really happy about Isarnia. Congrats if you guys do manage to pull her. I don't know why she keeps disappearing, but I think she is going to be an excellent hero and very usable now. So that's enough said about Isarnia. Let's get on to our other heroes that are in this portal. Sorry, I'm going to have to do this. Right, so Little John, we'll just really go over him a bit quicker. So he's of the Barbarian class. He gets the Superior Wound. So it's a 60% damage done by the normal attack over 5 turns. And then it gives them a 30% attack. I mean, it's still... Bleed is still not the greatest. So yeah, nothing really special about his superior talent. He does get the classic family bonus and a pretty decent boost from the costumes as well. It's worth noting that for the 4-star heroes and the 3-star heroes, it is a lower percentage bonus, but it still means that his stats are pretty damn good. If you second limit break him, he can definitely hold his own. And he gets the passive of the Toons, which is that extra chance to resist ailments, mana reductions, and buff dispels. So that's very important as well. Now, moving over to his special skill. So he is a slow speed hero, and it was Massive Chop, which really did feel quite massive, because if you look at that attack stat, 1167 attack. He's got very low defense, but in his time, that was a very high attack stat that he had. And it's still pretty much the same. So 1136, a little bit softer, but he's now dealing 215% damage to all enemies. He's then giving all enemies negative 54% mana generation for 3 turns. It was negative 64%, so I'm a bit sore about that. I don't think it's going to make him suddenly a really good usable hero. And then the extra damage against ice is there. But because he's got a lower attack stat and because of the boosted stats that we're seeing of heroes nowadays, I really don't think that he's going to make the cut as just suddenly becoming a really good hero. I would have liked to have seen them do something different, but I know that the Toons are going to be very reminiscent of the original. And out of all of his costumes, I really like the one with the dodge chance, which is this one. But still, you know, having said that, I wouldn't recommend Little John. So that's all I'm going to say about him. Now, moving on. So we've got Gormek. Right. This guy, on the other hand, is awesome. He's absolutely fantastic. Such a versatile hero. And in his costumes, this one, what I was talking about before, with the superior Jinx talent. So if you have the first costume for Gormek that you can dispel with tiles, is absolutely brilliant. So he's definitely worth leveling just for this costume. He destroys minions and he heals. In this costume, he's got a priority dispel. He's got this awesome class, the superior mana shield, where he has a 60% chance to resist direct mana reductions, and he can reflect negative mana effects and effects that prevent the use of special skills. So he can straight up reflect a mindless attack back at the enemy, and that is amazing alongside his priority dispel. So yeah, really, really good versatile costumes for him. The original costume is a defense down hero, and a really pretty good one, because it's similar to like what we have with Grim or what you have with Tibertus. 295 damage to the target, minor to nearby, but the target and nearby get 34% defense down for 6 turns. Now in this version, I can see that, funnily enough, and for no apparent reason, they've completely switched it around. So have a look at this, guys. So he now deals 325% damage to the target, minor damage to nearby enemies, so a bigger amount of damage. But now the target and nearby enemies get negative 24% attack for 6 turns. Why they've decided to change it from attack or defense to attack, I have absolutely no idea. I'm not a fan of that at all. I just think that they should have given it a lower percentage defense down, and that would have been better than giving a reduced attack. So I mean, this is probably the first time I've seen this with a Toon costume, and I'm not happy about it. Like, we know what to expect by now. We know that it's going to be an amped up version of the original in terms of damage, and maybe slightly less in terms of the ailment, but that's just a completely different ailment altogether, and it is on the Toon version. So yeah, I hope that that makes sense to you guys, but I'm not a fan of that attack down rather than the defense down. I like the increased damage. I like the extra damage against nature. And I like the Toon passive, obviously. But I don't think it's going to make him suddenly a really useful hero in tournaments like I was hoping for this guy. I think that you're still going to end up using these two versions of him for the minion destruction and also for the priority dispel. So yeah, Gormek is still good, but a bit of a letdown with this Toon costume, unfortunately. Now let's move on. How many more do we have? So we've got the 2 3-stars. We've got Berden. So Birden is a single target sniper. He's got the Toontastic shot, which was the entangling shot. It was 325 damage to the target. It's now 330, and the target gets negative 24% attack for 6 turns. Extra damage against ice, so it is going to make him a pretty hard-hitting sniper. Plus, I like the Toon passive. I think at the 3-star level, he could be pretty usable in the tournament formats and things like that. The attack up ether talent is a good one for him as well. And then the superior pierce, where it's a 60% chance to bypass and the target receives bleed damage, which is quite a lot. At the 3-star level, 243 bleed damage over 3 turns is some serious damage. But that being said, if you are going to take him on an attacking team, I'd probably end up using this version where, again, he deals 325% damage, so it's almost exactly the same, but the target gets a negative 34% defense for a long time, 6 turns. So yeah, I think he's really good and quite a usable sniper at the 3-star level. I think the Toon costume's probably better on defense, and then this version if you're taking him as part of an attacking team. But that being said, there are some pretty heavy hitting 3-stars in the nature element. If you haven't seen my video on the top epics and rares in the nature element, you'll see that there's some pretty hard hitting 3-stars in that video as well. And then moving on to our last hero in the portal, let's have a little look here. It is the lovely maiden Hawkmoon. And you know what? I've had a bit of a struggle with Hawkmoon for a while now, because I wasn't a huge fan of her. I know a lot of people love this costume where the health regeneration over 3 turns, and then the attack ups increase, because it is rare at the 3-star level. But that being said, I'm really not a fan of heal over time. So I did have a look at this costume initially just before making this video, and actually I really like this now, because look at this. So the Toon prayer now, as they're calling it, which was wind prayer, it was just a 32% health recovery for all allies, which is like, that is nothing. I mean, aside from the class bonus, which is cool, the cleric superior shield, superior mana shield that we've talked about, and the defense up ether talent maybe, but that's just a straight up heal, so there's nothing special about that. But now if we go over here, she's now recovering 35% health for all allies, and she's got a bit of extra meat on the bone now. So all allies get 34% defense for 3 turns. For all fire characters, this status effect becomes undispellable, and it lasts for 2 turns longer. So I really like this hero. So if you put everything together, if you put the class talent together, superior mana shield is one of the best. If you put together the passive, the Toon passive, which is awesome, the stat bonus, which is awesome, plus they now get that extra 5% mana bonus, and she can take advantage of that because she's running at average speed. And then you put together with this special, which is giving all allies 34% defense, as well as a nice meaty 35% heal, and an extra 2 turns on that defense up for fire characters. I really think she's good. And then I almost forgot about it, but this defense up ether talent, that just puts the sort of cherry on the top of the icing, on the top of the cream on the banana split for me. So yeah, I really do like this hero now. I think that she is one that I would like to get my hands on. Out of the Toons, probably my favorite hero that we've looked at today, other than Isarnia. The 4 stars that we looked at are a little bit of a letdown. But that being said, there are some amazing Toon characters in this portal. So I do think it's worth dropping some costume keys if you do have them. And I wish you guys all of the best of luck in this portal. Please do let me know in the comments what you guys think about Isarnia especially. I'd be really interested to hear your comments about her. I think she's going to be fantastic. And then also the other heroes that we've had, the new Toon heroes that we've had released into this portal. And don't forget to go on and put your votes on. Like I say, it's about another day before I will eventually get to doing the video, and the tier list will go live for the next family tier list. But please do let me know which one you want to do. Like I said, it looks like the constructs, but things could change. You never know. We could have a landslide turnaround in the next 24 hours. But that being said, I wish you guys everything of the best. Good luck in your summons. Please drop us a like, subscribe to the channel, share it with your mother, and I'll see you all again in the next video. Bye for now.